After more than 30 years of treating older men, I've realized something surprising. 80% of sexual decline in men over 60 isn't really about aging. It's about silent deficiencies in vitamins, minerals, and the foundational hormones your body depends on. The sad part? Most men have no idea. So they silently accept the decline, thinking it's just part of getting old, while their body is still capable of bouncing back. It just needs the right fuel. You don't need drugs. You don't need hormone injections. What you do need are 7 specific vitamins and minerals, just enough to restart natural testosterone. Reawaken energy, and bring back the confidence you thought was gone. You know, a lot of men over 60 come to see me, worried because their body doesn't respond like it used to. No more energy in the mornings, no more spark in the intimate moments. And you might think the first thing I'd check is testosterone, right? But no. The very first thing I look at is vitamin D3. Have you ever laid under the midday sun in summer and felt this quiet surge of energy flowing through your body? That's not just a feeling, it's biology. Vitamin D3 isn't just a vitamin, it's actually a powerful hormone. It opens up your blood vessels, improves circulation, and as any man knows, when blood flows well, everything else flows with it. 2. One of my patients, 67 years old, once told me, "Doc, I thought my fire had gone out for good. Turns out, I was just low on sunlight and low on D3." You see, sometimes the solution doesn't come from a clinic. It starts with something as simple as sunlight or a daily D3 supplement at the right dose. But here's what I always tell my patients. To unlock the full power of D3, it needs a partner, vitamin K2. Why? Because D3 is like a great driver, but without a map. Even a great driver can get lost. It can end up sending calcium to the wrong places, like your arteries, instead of where it's needed most. K2 is that map. It guides calcium into your bones and teeth, while keeping your blood vessels clean and clear. I once treated a 72-year-old man who had been taking D3 daily, but still felt sluggish, with slight numbness in his legs. When I asked, he said, "K2? Never heard of it." We added it in, and just a few weeks later, he came back smiling. "Doc, it feels like the blood is flowing through me again, like a river that's been unblocked." Have you ever felt yourself slowing down, for no clear reason? Maybe it's not your heart that's weak, maybe it's your blood vessels no longer hearing D3's quiet call. Don't let one small deficiency block the flow of life. But here's the thing, blood flow and testosterone? They're just part of the bigger picture. I want you to imagine this. Your body is a finely tuned control system. And for it to run smoothly, the signals from your central command, your brain, need to be strong and clear. That's where vitamin B6 comes in. I once treated a man named Thomas, 64. Quiet, calm, but recently, he told me something that struck me. "Doc, I'm not really sad. I'm not happy either. I just feel like there's nothing pushing me forward anymore." We ran his labs and found a severe B6 deficiency. You see, B6 doesn't just help your body produce testosterone. It acts like a microphone, carrying the brain's signal down to the testes. Without it, the signal weakens, testosterone drops, and what you feel is that slow, heavy drift, loss of energy, loss of motivation, and eventually, loss of that quiet fire inside. After a few weeks of supplementing with the right form and dose of B6, Thomas came back and told me, "I don't just feel stronger. I feel like I've got a reason again." And maybe that's you right now. Not tired, but empty. Don't ignore that. Your body might just be waiting for the right kind of power to switch back on from the inside. And speaking of power, it's not just about strong signals, your body also needs the stamina to keep them going. That's where magnesium comes into play. Magnesium is one of the most overlooked minerals in older men. Yet it's a critical link in keeping your testosterone steady, your sleep deep, and your muscles able to recover. I often describe magnesium as the silent technician, the guy behind the scenes, keeping the whole system running smooth and steady. I remember a patient, Larry, 68, a retired carpenter, strong, hardworking, but after retirement, the wheels began to slow. He started gaining weight, couldn't sleep, and lost all interest in everything. We ran his labs, severely low magnesium. We didn't use any fancy medications. Just one simple fix, magnesium glycinate. A gentle, absorbable form. Within a month, he came back with a different look in his eyes. He was sleeping better, less irritable. His belly had shrunk a little. And, in his words, things in the bedroom are flowing a little smoother again. I share this story with you because sometimes, what you need isn't a total life overhaul. It's simply giving your body what it's quietly begging for. Magnesium might just be what your body's been waiting on. Have you ever felt like you're still breathing, still moving, but fading somehow? Not tired, not sick, but not alive either? I once met Richard, 63 years old. Clean diet, regular workouts, but still, no energy, no desire, no spark. Everyone told him, it's just age. But I knew something wasn't being addressed. We checked his labs. Low in active vitamin A, retinol. Because at this age, your body doesn't convert plant-based beta-carotene like it used to. So we added back what his body needed. A little cod liver oil, egg yolks, and a modest retinol supplement. A few weeks later, Richard looked me in the eye and said, "Doc, I don't just feel stronger. I feel like someone turned the lights back on inside me." Sometimes, you don't need another prescription. You just need the one thing your body has been missing for far too long. Something no one ever told you to watch out for. And if vitamin A is the switch that turns the lights back on from within, then vitamin B12 is the current that powers the entire system. So many men over 60 come to me saying the same things. I'm always tired, doc. My hands feel numb. My brain's in a fog. It's not stress. It's not disease. It's often a simple B12 deficiency. I remember one patient, Mark, 66. A retired accountant. He lived a healthy life, ate well, stayed active, but he always felt drained. Couldn't focus. His fingertips had gone numb. He thought, it's just aging. But his blood test told another story, severely low B12. We started him on methylcobalamin, the active form of B12. And it was like plugging him back into the grid. His memory sharpened. He slept deeper. And one day, he told me, "Doc, I feel like I have a reason to wake up again." You see, sometimes you're not tired because you're weak. You're tired because your cells are starving for B12. And without that fuel, your body can't perform like it used to. Don't wait for your nerves to sound the alarm. B12 is a quiet support system. But when it runs low, your entire nervous system starts to flicker. And finally, all of these efforts, your blood flow, brain signals, hormone balance, won't reach their full potential if you're missing zinc. I often call zinc the mineral of male vitality. Because zinc is the raw material your testes need to produce testosterone. Without enough, testosterone drops, sperm count declines, and desire slowly fades. One of my patients, Steve, 70 years old, once joked with a hint of sadness. "Doc, I feel like an old car, full of smoke and out of gas." He was still strong, lifting light weights, but had completely lost interest in intimacy. Even though he and his wife used to be very close. We ran the labs, and just as I suspected, severe zinc deficiency. We started him on a simple routine, 15 to 30 milligrams of zinc per day. A few weeks later, he returned and said with a grin, "I don't know what you put in that pill, Doc, but my wife's been smiling a lot more lately." I smiled back and said, "That's not the pill working. That's your body waking back up." Zinc doesn't perform miracles, but it awakens the strength that's always been inside you. And if you've ever felt like you've been slowly slipping away from the man you used to be, maybe, just maybe, you've been missing one small but powerful thing, zinc. So now, we've walked through the full chain. The silent, essential nutrients that help a man after 60 not just stay alive, but live with strength, fire, and substance. I want you to pause for a moment and ask yourself this. Am I truly giving my body what it needs? Or have I just been blaming age and quietly letting myself fade? Because I've seen too many men who thought their fire was gone, when in reality, they were just quietly running on empty. But once we gave the body what it was asking for, the turnaround was more powerful than they ever expected. You don't need hormone injections. You don't need to rely on medications. You just need to listen to your body and give it the raw materials it's been calling for. And if you're 60, 65, or even 70, I want you to know this. It is never too late to reclaim your health, your energy, and your quiet confidence as a man. Your body hasn't given up on you. Don't give up on it. If this video spoke to you, share it with someone you care about, a friend, a husband, a father, someone who might need to hear this too. And if you're ready to keep walking this path, to rebuild your health and rediscover your strength in a natural, pressure-free, science-backed way, hit that subscribe button and join me in the next videos. Because aging isn't a downhill road. It's your comeback as a wiser, stronger, more grounded version of yourself.